guiding here. And this one, oh yes, I've seen this one. I had researched this beforehand. This was of the famous tomb of George Wombwell. Now he was a menagerie, he owned a menagerie, and he had a collection of exotic animals. And one of his favourite, well, his faithful companion, his lion here. So Wombwell was one of the more famous travelling menagerists in the country. So he had a travelling menagerie. It started out originally, he started out as a shoemaker in Soho, but he came across, when the ships started to come in from Asia and Africa, he came across two boa constrictors and he bought them for £75 and he started to display them to the public who were so curious about these exotic animals. So eventually he grew his menagerie. Ostriches, excuse me, lions, tigers, boa constrictors, rhinoceroses, all different exotic animals, and he used to travel around the country with them. He even consulted with Prince Albert about one time that his dogs kept dying, and he found out that the water was poisoning the dogs. But here he is, buried here in Highgate Cemetery under the watchful eye of his stunning lion and faithful companion Nero. Isn't that stunning, you guys? So I'm going to take you back down to the main entrance because there's one particular grave of interest, the Rossetti grave. And I want to tell you all about it. He was a very famous poet, but his wife is of considerable interest to us on this tour. And I will explain all in just a few moments. There is a guided tour taking place in the background, so technically I don't think I'm really allowed to guide in here, but I will be a bit discreet as I'm passing. So I was just listening into the tour guide there for a minute. She must be a member of the Friends of Highgate. They do a wonderful job of maintaining this stunning cemetery. But she was talking a little bit about the Highgate vampire, and that is what I talk to you about right now. So obviously in a cemetery of this size, with that many corpses here and that many interred here, over 200 years of history, there must be some legends of folklores of ghost sightings, etc. But one of the more famous was in 1969, and the legend has it one lady was walking her dog at night time up by Swan's Lane, and she never met anyone there before. She walked there quite frequently and occasionally kind of cut through the cemetery on her walk at night time. But this particular evening, she cuts through, and when she looked up, she saw a tall figure, about 7 foot tall, floating, literally levitating between the graves. She also reported feeling an icy chill in the air at the time and was terrified out of her wits. Now, she was the first witness to the Highgate vampire, but in 1969 an accountant cut through the cemetery and he got lost on his way. Okay. There. So he himself, this accountant, got lost along the way. Now, as he was walking through, he felt a presence and a sudden icy chill in the air. Now, the church bells rang, and he just assumed this was the norm, and it was quite regular. But in more recent years, people believe that those church bells rang to warn him of the presence of an evil entity that actually snuck up behind him, and suddenly he felt this icy chill as well in the air. And in paranormal worlds, this is also known